The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast.
Whatever you drive, however you drive. AMSOIL specially engineers lubricants to maximize power, performance, and protection in your vehicles, so you can work hard and play hard with confidence.
The Triple Bypass Racing League now heads from Talladega last week, where we saw a lot of action and a lot of craziness, and now let's head to the 2 miles in the Irish Hills and see what's in store for us today. The real world put on one of the best races of the year with some drafting, multi-groove action, strategy galore, and I expect to see a replication of that here this evening here in the Triple Bypass Racing League. Welcome everybody to PTR TV for today's coverage of the Triple Bypass Racing League. We're at race number 5, and we are at the Stanley Cup Showdown, as this is being deemed for 85 laps. I mistyped there. The Stanley Cup Showdown here this evening. Gonna be myself, Corey Silva, in the booth, and Brad is finishing up the new touches on a new house, so he's a little busy tonight, but Howie Burrows is going to join us here. Howie was with us, I believe, 2 or 3 weeks ago, however many weeks ago it was, but Howie, Michigan, one of the most fun tracks, high speeds upwards of 200 miles an hour, and these drivers will be pack racing aplenty, should see some fabulous racing.
This is the real fast NASCAR track. We take the restrictors off and we go full bore around this crazy and iconic bowl. I love this place, and not just because it's fast, but because it's very, very challenging on the drivers as well. Tires are going to get shredded in the long run, and there's going to be a bit of separation and a bit of pack racing all at once. I've had quite a busy day. I've just come back from the NASCAR Euro Series round at Brands Hatch earlier today. Very different cars, very different kind of racing. Oil Slick took out 8 cars at the start. That was great, but at least I got to see our favourite Save of the Race driver's car. So I've had my own NASCAR weekend ahead on the other side of the pond, and what a way to end my day than to see even more Michigan racing.
Yeah, you have really accepted that Ricky Rudd Save of the Race award. We will be sure to give that out a little bit later. And we do want to thank our sponsor for today's race, Dominic Zanobi here. And as we're seeing in chat, the Stanley Cup Showdown, go Oilers. The Florida Panthers tied 1-1 with the Oilers. I don't like the Panthers because they knocked out my Bruins a few years consecutively, so I will also concede to go Oilers myself. But let's head down trackside here as qualifying has concluded. These drivers are all set for the grid, and let's let you know where they will be starting. Chad Baer from Clintwood, Virginia is going to lead things out with a 39 flat. Daniel Williams in the second position. Third, we will find the likes of Ty E. Bass and Kyle Dewey in the 4th spot. 5th will be John Creedler, and let's see if he's a Edmonton fan. Sean Bradley going to be in 6th. 7th, we have Brad Kress, Dylan Freeman in 8th, and then rounding out our top 10, Alan Kundman. Haven't seen that name. Kundman. That's new to me as well. And then Jared Jackson in 10th there, Howie.
There's quite a few new names on the grid this week. Here's a few you might know. Mark Herzog, 6th and 11th, next to Stephen McLendon in 12th. Michael Hopkins is next to Joshua Corona. That's a name I should know, 13 and 14. Corner. William Emerson next to Mike Weeder in 15th and 16th, in front of Matthew Harmon. Marty Rogers, Jeff Slaughter, and Cameron Kane for 20th. And there's more to come. It's a big grid.
Yes, there is. Nathan Smith in 21st. John Campbell, he's all the way down yonder, or under, I suppose, in 22nd. Jason R., what does the R stands for? Race car in 23rd. Nick Jones in 24th. 25th is Tyler Rulos, and then John Crutchley in 26th. Looks like we got 33 strong here this evening. Timothy O'Connor in 27th. Jeremy Brown in 28th. Davey Hendricks, Ward Fisher, and just to round things out, Mr. Zenobia, our race sponsor. Tex AMSOIL Nichols in 32nd. And then shotgun on the field is going to be not Ken, it's going to be Alex Squire out of Asheville, North Carolina. That is our starting lineup here today from the Michigan Speedway. Not much to describe. 2 miles around, nice D-shaped oval, 18 degrees of banking, and our race details on the screen there.
It's going to be an absolute barn burner of action. My first ever race with triple bypass was on Michigan, and we come back every year for good reason, because there really is nothing quite like it. It's going to be challenging just to get around here in the long run. Drivers will be comparing their qualifying laps, but the long run wears you down around here, whether you're on the top or the bottom. Sort of want to run a nice sort of Michigan line, they call it, almost just off the bottom as you make your way around the corners. There's going to be a lot of scrambling for positions as well, as all the horsepower these cars can muster around there, but even that might see you aero limited.
Yeah, as you talked about that Michigan line, that inside lane. This track is progressively banked, which is something that not many people know. They don't really advertise it, but it is. Again, we don't have a privy to the fuel load here, but I can use. Why did I type in? I am just off in La La Land myself there, Howie. I typed in 40% fuel load on the graphic. It's an 80% fuel load. Michigan fuel load's usually around 50 laps. So we'll estimate that to be 40 laps, and with our stage at lap number 30, we should be all set on fuel, but I wouldn't be surprised if a pit stop comes right at that stage break. But Chad Bear will lead things down for us. We have the 3Chi car on the inside and the Penn State Ford Mustang to the outside. Our unmarked iRacing sedan pace car pulls into the safety of pit lane, and 85 laps strong to get underway. Triple Bypass Racing League, the Stanley Cup showdown is green, green, green. Let's go racing. Martin Herzog starting in the pits here today, but leading things down, Chad Bear will get the whole shot into turn number 1. It'll be Ty E. Bass and then Daniel Williams, and then here comes the 2-3 wide race and that pack-style Michigan racing as they navigate through the back straightaway.
There's so much space to move around here that you can go 3, you'll possibly even go 4 and send it into those corners. Although that top 2 have already made quite a large separation themselves. Bear and Bass racing each other hard with less than a 10th in there. And then the gap's quite a bit further behind. Looks like they're going to be working together a little bit to move up this pack, as we're already seeing the bumps come out between the two, and we're just on lap 1.
Yeah, speeds upwards of 200 miles an hour, and here comes the opportunity to the inside. Ty E. Bass going down there. Chad Bear has it. Ty wants it. They'll run side by side, and Daniel Williams will be able to take advantage of the fact that they're going to slow each other down, running 2 wide, evading the side draft, and that'll give a 3-car battle. And speaking of a 3-car battle, very nearly that Spotify car, that is John Creedler, took 3 wide, washed up the track nearly into Dylan Freeman.
Still running it free through these corners, just trying to get every place that these drivers can possibly get on the early laps. Races do spread out here quite quick, as you don't quite run it flat the whole way around, and some drivers are going to start saving their tyre nice and early. So we're going to start seeing those gaps spread out early, but right about now you want every little place you can get. Bass pulling out a small gap, but still those two, I think they're going to be working together down the straights, possibly trading places if they get a good enough run. But I sort of see one pushing the other every time they make it. If they can make their runaway, they don't have to worry about the cars behind, then they can focus on racing each other later.
Little scrape to the fence there for the leader, Ty Bass. Chad Bear, just watch that interval in the middle of the screen. Just goes down, goes down, goes down. That's the slipstream. That is the draft. That's the sook, as our pal Andre likes to say. But going high, getting that clean air on the nose, very vital. Allows him to keep that speed up, keep the grip going, and look at this amazing run. Will he give it a shove, or will he make an optimistic dive?
I think it's going to be shoves for a while. The engine's probably not going to get too overheated given these turns around here, but drivers seem to be getting the run on the inside to make that happen. The Spotify car still going free wide. He's been stuck in the middle of the sandwich several times around the 99, about getting clear for now, but I bet he'll be swamped again as these drivers around the middle of this pack are still absolutely battling each other for every inch of the track they've got. I thought the single file would sort of begin a little bit earlier, but I don't think these guys are bored at all.
Not at all, but again, racing to lap number 30 for that stage. That is our one guaranteed caution of the race. A battle going on here up front. That is the 35 of Daniel Williams looking to the inside of that's going to be the 77 of Sean Bradley, and I see nearly 3 wide behind that. That's Dylan Freeman in that bright pink automobile. Jared Jackson, he sponsored some races a few races back. And then who's that looking to the bottom? That's Stephen McClendon, 3 wide.
Still free, still the whole way down. That 31 sticking very, very high. There'd be space to stick another one in there, but I don't think anyone's quite stupid enough. Not quite clear on the 12. Closes up, but that's going to push a few down below the line. I think it's pretty well collected up by everybody there. That 51 car of Stephen McClendon just keeping it together, and he returns to another 3 wide traffic jam. Yeah, I think someone just moved along a little bit, and there just wasn't quite the clearance there to make that one work.
Yeah, look at here very quickly on the replay. All the way to the top of the track, Dylan Freeman in that 31. Oh, the 12 and the 33 had a little bit of a kerfuffle. The 12 wiggled down, and luckily there's enough pavement down there to make a road from here to Alberta, I suppose, with as much pavement as there is down there, so had the room to evade. But as you said up front, Howie, they are working together. No pass attempts to be had. That'll make Sean Bradley's life a little bit harder, but he's not going to give up the fight regardless. Drives underneath Chad Baird. He'll clear. Chad getting a little bit squirrely, a little bit sideways. Will the 77 clear? Answer is yes. Ty Bass, your grasp on the lead may be short-lived.
Sean Bradley's one of those drivers in this league that I don't count out until his car has been wrecked twice and the spare car is gone. It feels like every single time he is either at the front or he's making his way to the front and getting ready to go. Didn't see too much of him in the very first laps, but now Bear is right in the middle of the dirty air Fiesta, and these cars are very, very, very draggy at the moment. Only a couple more weeks. Probably this is the last race, actually, on these iterations of the cars, because they're getting a very, very big change to aero and tires in the next season. That side draft, very, very powerful, with almost another check up into the wall for 4th and 5th there, just about averted.
Oh, here we go for the lead. Contact, side swipe there on the straightaway as Sean Bradley got the run into turn number 1. A little bit of pancake action. They beat doors, and they're going to beat doors again off turn 2, guys. We are at Michigan. We are not at Bristol. We are not at Richmond. You got to keep those fenders clear for maximum aerodynamic performance. But Bradley not giving up to the inside. Chad Bair is going to give any slipstream assistance to the 2 on the outside lane. Bradley's going to look to clear. Can't do it. They'll remain side by side and just nearly about hitting doors again.
Bradley needs to watch that apron, so he's cutting it already, and that's what caused the first contact. Then on that turn 4, he actually dips some tires below it and almost goes right up into Bass again. He's been slowed down a lot. I don't think now's the time to be cutting that every single lap. The rejoin seems slow, and now the car is loose and sliding all over the place. That's going to cost him everything.
Yeah, he's going to go from battling for the lead, now back to 4th, back to 5th, back to 6th, as now he's in the clutches of Dylan Freeman and Daniel Williams. And then here comes Jared Jackson. So all back in the pack here is some drivers still 3 abreast. Ty Bass still in the lead, but look at this 3 wide. That's the 3 to the inside. That's Alan Kunman in the white Dale Senior S car. I'm sure he drove something like that at some point or another, but I don't quite remember it. Who's that all the way to the top of the track? That is the 38, I believe. Very slow on the top of the racetrack, falling back. Can't quite tell who that is. That's actually, no, that's Dominic Zanobi. That's our race sponsor. He is 9 laps down and in dead last, so not what we want to see for him. But we do want to thank him again for being today's race sponsor.
Zanobi did make a pit stop, and he's just come out. This is his first out lap, and I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe there was some technical issue that needed resolving.
Oh, yeah, he pitted. My overlay, you noticed this, Howie, last time you were with me.
That's the ATVO bug. We love it.
Yeah, pitting is a crash. It is not a crash, but back to the front of the field right now. And let's get back to live footage. Ty Ebass is up front. Chad Bear back to where they want to be. Compadres working together. Sean Bradley says, all right, I fell back, but now I'm going to work my way back up. I'm in third, but I might have to battle with Steve McClendon. Steve McClendon to the outside of Kyle Dewey for the fourth spot. He'll have the slipstream on that outside lane. That's where they're all lined up. So that'll move Steve McClendon. Where did he start today? My memory doesn't go back that far. 12th, up 8 spots in 13 laps.
I mean, Bradley's already back. Like, that surprises me after it's a little mistake, but that's one thing he doesn't want to repeat. It's going to be hot out here on the track, and you do not want to slide those tires. Someone else is sliding below the line on the back, and meanwhile at the front, Chad Bear takes the pass for the lead for now. Seems like they're going to be trading that back and forth for quite some time until later on in the run. That was a little bit scary below the line, but there's a lot of space down there on the backstretch of Michigan, frankly, and that can help you stay away from yellows, and that's not how you say Michigan, by the way. I'm sorry to all the Americans in the chat.
And we will not overly focus on that number 405. Brad did he did all the due justice, and we have figured out all of the flavors of ice cream that were on the hood of William Ebert's vehicle, and we did vouch not to do that again. And somebody going for the down underline there. It was a white car. Can't quite make out who it was here, but somebody doing that, adding that chicane down the back straightaway of sorts, but all sorted out. What is not sorted out is the battle for third now, or maybe it is actually coming off corner number 4. Sean Bradley losing it. Steve McClendon, move him up 10 spots on the day. He wants that stage win. He is saying, here, kitty, kitty, let's play in the Jaws music. He wants the lead.
Seems like a lot of cars are just putting on too much power out of 2, and that's just causing these slides. You get so much grip out of the next gen, you sort of think that it comes for free, and then it doesn't really. It comes the Stephen McClendon, a lot of pace down that backstretch. His car's all below the line, all the way back.
Yeah, I'm wondering if something happened. We're not under yellow. Oh, we are under yellow. My overlays are not registering the yellow, but what are we doing? No, we're green right now. My timing screen is telling me that we're under yellow right now, so don't mind me.
It does feel like these cars are running slower than normal. Maybe we're just getting some tall angles this time, though. But no, the gaps are being maintained, so maybe I'm all in my head. But I mean, the gaps have spread out to almost infinitum here. Ty Bass has just made almost a second up on McClendon. Yeah. No, there is the pace car. Yeah. We're trying to work this one out together, people. We're trying to work this one out together.
My timing, my overlay software just went absolute wonky on me for a second, so just doing a quick refresh for that. But we are under caution for some reason or another, which we will hopefully be able to do. So it's not our stage. Our stage is at lap number 30, but we did see all of the craziness going on down the back straightaway. Our live timing, I'll pull that back up and get things sorted here on the back end. But under caution, text did have some issues of sorts that we are quickly finding out here. We'll watch pit stops in a second, and we will get that replay sorted out. Or actually, are they going to pit? No, they're going to stay on the racetrack, interestingly.
Tires must have been a bit used by now, but still 16 laps might be a bit early to pull the pit, especially if more of these are going to come. Saw a prediction in the chat of an over-under 3 cautions, and 3 feels optimistic. I mean, it's quite easy to keep your car to yourself around here, although it's not the first time we've seen a couple cars get in contact. Is this the incident? We'll find out. Text Nichols.
Something happened. So Tex towed back to the pits. That's the only trigger that I have of anything, and I don't think it's accurate. But something happened to Tex. But even if nothing happened to Tex, what we'll say is thanks, Tex, for being the league sponsor here with AMSOIL. And I know there's some links in the description. Don't have any triggers as to what happened there. We see some 4 wide in front of Tex. Oh, what do you know? We just had to wait a little bit longer.
And Tex is going to make evasive action and hit the wall on his way.
All right, so yeah, replay was a little earlier than normal, but either way, we figured out the source of it here. So we're working through the limitations of homemade software here on PTR TV, but this will give us an opportunity very quickly to go over the point standings because we did not get to do that earlier in the pre-race here. And Steve McClendon and Chad Baer, you can see the yellow on their names because they are winners. They are locked in. And Steve McClendon enjoying a 12-point lead over Ben Harcum here. And I don't recall if Ben Harcum is here today. Didn't recall reading that down on the grid, but he is in second. Matt Robinson, Bear Crest, you could see separated by about 24 points for the top 10 here in after 4 races.
We don't have Harcum or Robinson in this lobby, so second and third both currently unattended. But with the playoff format, it's very win and you're in around here, and a lot of things can still change in the length of the season we have up ahead. Looks like we're about to get the cars too wide again. Some running out of the pit. We might be able to get our restart. We might have better clue of what's going on around here. Steve McClendon had a spectacular run that pushed him up to second. Now he's going to have the chance to play a ball on a restart. Obviously, Chad Baer's in control, and he is very good at controlling race starts, but a lot of the fast cream has already risen quite high to the top.
Yeah, creep always rises to the top, but the other side of the coin here is it's still very early, and you're going to have a lot of aggressive driving. People want that stage point. They want the playoff point. They want the seeding and everything that goes with winning a stage. Therefore, it's going to get intense. We're going to have pack racing, and as we know, when we have pack racing, we have wrecks. So the drivers will have to balance that risk versus reward. How important is the stage? Because I do want to be here for the race win. So we'll see how these drivers do balance that out here. Chad Baer, Steve McClendon, and then we've got to watch row number 2. A lot of times that's the most important row on these pack style tracks. It's going to be Sean Bradley and then Kyle Dewey in 3rd and 4th.
Expect to see some free wide in just a turn or 2. Drivers seem to just take every inch that's available. Here comes the pace car in. Bears in control in the restart zone.
And that Geico Echo Park change sponsor here, restart zone. Barney has the flag in hand. On the accelerator is Bear. He will get the whole shot here by about 2 or 3 car lengths here, side by side. Will be the Edmonton Oilers Mustang battling with the number 51 of McClendon there in that. I'm trying to read the sponsor here at a distance. Can't read it at a distance, so I'll have to get a little bit closer. I'd try to do you a solid, bro, and read your sponsor here. Catamount something, we'll get it in due course. Catamount Solutions LLC.com. That was perfectly read with no delay. Chevy Camaro, but here we go side by side. Brad Crest throwing the Valvoline car into the mix. He's going to give a little bit of a push to McClendon down the front.
And Chad Baer's very happy for these drivers to split the difference behind. Still cutting below the line, Sean Bradley, but that outside line became 3, almost 4. And I think now there's a chance for it to be set free up the middle. The gap just closed up for Brad Crest. He's not going to take it this time, but there's momentum on that high side down this straight. And I think the bottom, if you're stuck there on corner exit, you can be a slow sitting duck. There's the scent.
Here we go, just about 3 wide, just about 4 wide as William Ebert all the way up there in the Larson line, up at the fence, squeezing on the outside of Dewey. We are 4 abreast down the front at Michigan. The 4th car to the bottom gained some sense. That was the 3 of Alan Kunman. He pulls into line, but we're 3 by 3, 2 rows deep. What could go wrong? Hopefully nothing. We're 3 by 3. Let's go 4. We're crazy racing. The 12 washing up through the center. He got to the flat. He's sideways. Can he evade the wreck? No, we are wrecking down the back.
The big one strikes the field, and there comes the yellow. Well, there's cars everywhere here, all sorts of victims. That felt like it was going to go wrong every single passing second, and we were just waiting for the time where contact would go too far. I mean, that's just the reality of sending it 3 and almost 4 in the middle, kind of sandwiched.
Got a little bit loose, but the 12 was on that apron that we talked about, Howie, that is a little bit less banked, harder to run down there. A couple, I mean, dare I say, to be nice to people, there were a couple ARCA brakes moments deeper in the field. I won't point out names, but a bunch of drivers having some issues, having some bent up sheet metal here as we are on lap number 22 here. There's Jared Jackson with some crinkled up nose damage there. But this will put us in an interesting position as it's lap number 22, so we will still have a small shootout to the stage. And then, Howie, you're in that position for those drivers with damage. Is it enough damage to pull the backup out? Can you get it fixed? You know you need to get it fixed quite well to maintain your speed on this high-speed track. So you don't want to pull out that backup unless it's really, really terminal.
Unfortunately, because of the bodies of these next gens, one of the problems we have is that we can't really tell from here because the thing's barely at bend and buckle. There's not as many takers as I thought. Ty Bass there does a bit of a fake out and dips right out, but this is a lot of the damaged cars around the back are now going to jump in. I'm interested in Webber. Who's going to change their tires and who's going to keep them? We'll be able to keep an eye on the times in the pit lane, but it looks like we have pit stops from pretty much the damaged car. No one's going for this strategically.
Yeah, we'll see if any of those jack stands are going to go up, because again, 3 sets of Goodyears in the pits. We'll have about 2 required pit stops, I believe, because of the fuel load. So I believe they have what I like to call as a strategy set on the wall, and whether you choose to use it now is, of course, your own volition. Didn't really follow the fall off too much. I don't know if you were analyzing that in the background at all, Howie, regarding the best lap, last lap scenarios, what the fall off is. I imagine it's probably around a second. That tends to be standard, but certainly not 2-3 seconds like you see at other circuits.
I was watching, or I still really am watching, some of the box times of some of these cars. So all the cars down to Michael Hopkins stay out. Alan Kundman in 12th is the first driver to out of the pits. He won the battle off pit road where 15 seconds stopped. So they took some tires. And Joshua Corona, Davey Hendricks, and John Crutchley, they took 1 fewer half of tires for most of the drivers behind them.
I like that verbiage. I've never heard of that before. 1 fewer half of tires.
I'm just making things up as I go along half the time.
We call that we call that taking 2 tires here in America.
Well, it's a half and a half. Some drivers have much longer stops, even though they didn't use the fast repair. I'm keeping an eye on wondering why drivers like Mark Herzog were a minute in the box.
What would happen to your brain at a local short track where they change rear tires only? Would you know how to compute that?
The legends go front and rears, and it still halves. You know, I drive TCRs. You only change the front. I mean, that doesn't count. That's cheating.
Yeah, well, yeah. When the drivetrain is in the front, you know, it's a little bit little askew there. But yeah, certainly some short track series. They'll put. I mean, there's some certain series out there in the real world. They'll change 1 tire because that's all they can afford. But it still has a tangible impact on the car. So yeah, we will be going back to green at lap 25. The stage is at lap number 30, if I'm reading my back-end notes properly. And just as a league note, how they operate things here in Triple Bypass, they do call the stage at the start of the designated lap. So we'll actually be completing lap 29, starting lap 30. That'll be our stage. So effectively, we'll have a 4-lap shootout to our next caution.
Pits get closed a couple laps before the caution flies as well. So if you didn't take the stop now, you're not taking it until the end of the stage. I mean, there wasn't too much point in this many laps, but you're not going to get the opportunity to anyway. Another control by Chad Bear, and he loved the fact that everybody behind him fought that much. That gap extended out to infinitum. Now he's going to have to do it again.
Yes, he is, coming off of turn number 4, the Kyle Busch S car and the Catamount Solutions LLC Camaro there. I got it for you, Steve. We'll get things flowing here into that restart zone. Will the jump go to Chad Bear? Answer is yes. There goes that 2 to 3 car length jump, but on a speedway type track, that's not always a good thing. Look at Kress giving the shove to McClendon on that outside entering 1.
It's a good getaway for now, although that's pretty easy to get, I'd say, when you have the restart zone. Emert and McClendon behind are going to run side by side. Emert on the high side, McClendon on the bottom There's some good momentum on that top side for Ema, but it might get sent free by Bass right through the middle again. He's opportunistic, and that's a good run. That's the fastest line around this track, and he proves it. Bit of a flick down to the bottom, but I think he's set up his confidence again. We're yellow again. I think something just happened in the back of the track.
Yes, that is Kyle Dewey here. I'm not sure why my our overlays are not accommodating the yellows as usual. I haven't updated anything, but I'll leave that to be software updates. But let's see what happened here on our replay.
It also involves John Campbell.
Yeah, they all got
two meatballs.
Yeah, they all got stacked up there. Oh, whoa, that was a huge back end impact there. And you can see the heavy damage. Perfect for Kyle Dewey. He went right into the pits, lost as little time as possible there. But we will be under yet another caution. And while we are on another caution, one thing that they do here in Triple Bypass is they do race recap videos of what happened in the prior week. And we have one of those to show you of what happened last week at Talladega. And just barring any pit stops of a note here. All right, scratch that logic. We won't do that recap video. We will see what this pit stop is, doing it right before the pits close. And we're still actually on cue, Howie, for I think maybe a 2-lap shootout before the stage.
The cautions will continue until morale improves, you know? That's the way I'm seeing the way that these restarts are happening right now. We will end the stage if we get another one around it. That one that was good racing near the front and one little accident near the back. It really sucks to be the guy on the bottom that just gets wiped out of oblivion through cars on the top being difficult, but there's just so much space and sometimes you don't quite know where to run it. Lots of takers this time. Only the front row didn't stop. Alan Kundman again leading the pack at a pit road, but he's on fresher tires.
Yes, he is, and I'll pull the stint graphic. I don't know if that's going to work based on what I've had to do. Yes, it will. He's 6-lap fresher tires on Alan Kundman there in that number 3 running in the 3rd spot. So all the Dale fanatics there can go crazy that number matches the scheme there. But then you have Jeremy Brown in that number 46 Elite Designs Chevrolet. And highest we've seen Jeremy here in many weeks. And again, there's a position you're in, Howie, when you're running kind of ahead of your normal running position. You're in that spot. Do you take advantage of it for the win, for the stage win? Do you put yourself in that risky spot? Or do you just want to, get that finishing position, whether it be a stage or a win, and just maximize on the fact that you're running a little better than usual?
I feel like if it's your first time, you have to try, like if you've done this a few times and you know how it goes, you could start playing the long run game. But if this is brand new to you and you're not up at the front often, you make the most of it. And there's points in the stage. No one really remembers the stage winner, but this second row has a huge shot. 28 lap old tires on the front row and then 5 lap old tires on the cars behind. I think these guys are going to be beached running through the first few corners. There's only a couple until that next caution flies, but it's going to be very hard to hold on to these places. Bass and Brown probably need to count it out, and this could lead to another stack up.
And hopefully not here, because we are already on, I believe, our 3rd caution here of the day, and we'll have one more to boot in just a minute's time here, but we'll see what happens. Ty Bass has led the most laps thus far. He has had the help of Chad Baer. Chad Baer won't be able to help him. Chad Baer all the way back there in the 9th position at present, so he's going to have to do this all by himself. That 3, always look for a 3 car to do big things. That's just the normality of the number. Daniel Williams, he's up there, and then Timothy O'Connor. Haven't said that name here today, but we don't know what that 35 car is capable of there. He's in 4th up top.
Lots of the newer names running right up front, but we love to see some new blood challenge the veterans on the track as well. Keeps the league healthy, keeps them on their toes, you could say.
Keeps them on their toes, indeed. Keeps that norm. You never know what's going to happen when guys up front that you don't work with on a daily basis. But let's come here into the restart zone. And again, Ty Bass has just got that restart down. That outside is just struggling on these restarts. That will give him the advantage. That'll give Alan Kunman full opportunity for second position. And then the scary part, the rest of them as they flail out through turns 1 and 2 using all 6 lanes of racetrack here at Michigan, trying to sort things out.
Kunman's only got a couple turns to try and make this run. Well, really, 1 turn before the yellow is thrown. Bit of stacking up behind, but the rest have made it out cleanly. He's sandwiched between 2 cars. He's much faster than, but I actually think Bass might have the run necessary. In fact, Brown could end up pushing Kunman out of this P2. They're going to drag race to the line, but one person that's not drag racing is Ty Bass, who with the old tires takes the stage.
And we'll take the stage indeed here, so that'll be our stage break. We'll get things sorted, but one thing we do need to do, again, we have a lot of things to cover here, but we are going to very quickly, as caution is out, and we don't expect too many pit stops. They've all pitted recently. Let's go to our race recap from last week's race at Talladega.
On June 1st, 2025, the Triple Bypass Nichols Oil Pro Series took the green flag at the high banks of Talladega Superspeedway for an 85-lap thriller. With 10 different leaders and a whopping 18 lead changes, the race was pure superspeedway chaos. 8 cautions slowed the action for 23 laps, but when the dust settled, it came down to a breathtaking finish. The All-Star 80 was sponsored by TVP co-founders Jason Benson and John Crutchley and broadcast live by our partners at Primetime Racing TV. Kyle Dewey, piloting car 33, pulled off a stunning last-lap charge from 23rd on the grid to grab the victory by just 0.06 seconds. He only led a single lap, but it was the one that counted. Dewey got into on-track trouble early in the race, but powered back to grab his first ever TBP victory. Starting second, Matthew Robinson in the 34 stayed near the front all race long. He led 31 laps but came up just short at the line to finish second, less than a blink behind the winner. Jared Jackson in car 12 crossed the line third, trailing Robinson by just 0.08 seconds. Jackson remained patient and consistent through the chaos, securing his podium finish with a late push. Matthew Alaka in the 777 put in a strong run to finish fourth after leading 16 laps. Ty Bass in car 2 climbed from deep in the field to grab fifth, also leading 1 lap in the process. In a classic superspeedway finish, the winner finished sideways across the line, capping off another exciting race in this series. Congrats to Kyle on the win. We hope you enjoyed this Triple Bypass Nichols Oil Pros Series recap. We'll see you next time.
And we thought we had more time, but we're cutting 1 to green. We're getting right back to action here. We cut the caution 1 lap short. That was our race recap from last week's at Talladega. And now we have 50 some odd laps to serve here at the Michigan Speedway. Stage number 2 on the board right now. Ty Bass gets the jump. Very discombobulated, very separated for the top 5. And we'll fan out once again here into turn 1.
Now, Ty Bass still on the old tires, did not stop at all under the caution, so now this run is going to start to fall off. He did a great job holding on for a while, but some things don't hold forever. How long is it going to happen? That's going to be the fun game. Everybody needs to stop eventually, and it's all according to his plan. Alan Kunman sending it down to the inside of Jared Jackson. He's going to make that nice and clear and be in front in time. Up front, Jeremy Brown, he's looking to try and make this pass inevitable.
We may have had a little bit of a connection issue for Ty Bass very quickly, but now door to door, side by side, little bit of contact. These guys, they're having some fun doing that. A little bit of door tap on the straightaways, but the 4th time we've seen that thus far. All the way down on that flat lane is Jeremy Brown. Can he remain side by side for the side draft? Answer is no, so he'll fall back in line. Jared Jackson, highest he's been on the evening, in the 3rd position. But Alan Kunman trying to take a dive to the inside. Then you have Matthew Harmon, haven't spoke of him here today, making a pass underneath O'Connor. Then Chad Baer trying to do his comeback tour.
Chad Bear, another one of those drivers, he finds a way in the front in the long run, even if you don't quite expect it. So there's still a lot to go for a lot of these drivers. And of course, we're not even really at the point where drivers are going to need to make their green flag pit stops.
Oh my goodness, look at this.
Up front, I keep thinking, when's Brown going to do this? I keep thinking, when's he going to have the pace in? And those tires should do it. And every lap, he doesn't do it. Jared Jackson is going to take that place, and I think he's going to have to make the next shot of it, because that's a couple fails in a row.
Well, we have to give kudos to the iRacing netcode model for letting them door tap the entire corner and not have any issues. So kudos to that, because that was some very, very high tier stuff. Other high tier stuff is this 3-wide battle. O'Connor was in the middle, thought against it. Bear to the inside, and then who is that ahead? That is Matthew Harmon still. Harmon now looking to the inside of Jeremy Brown, and Kunman underneath the 12. So that 3-car moving up, trying to side draft down the back straightaway, but lost that steam, and now Jeremy Brown going to try to snake on the outside. He will clear, but what will the 3 do? Can he make ground on the inside?
Bass is just holding everyone off, and the more these cars run side by side, the more the crazy side draft on these next gens is going to pull them back 3 wide across the start finish. A huge run there by Harmon on the bottom. He almost takes the apron for it, but he's going to be on that low line, not going to have the best entry. Still free. The free back's out now. Side by side, a row behind Ty Bass. Oh, he's holding it.
Yeah, that was Harmon.
He got it.
There's that seam. When you're running on 2 different tiers of banking, it will get the car loose, and that's what happens when these drivers cross seams like that. 28 got loose. Now here comes another 3 wide, which is just par for the course. Wide track, easy to draft on. That's what's going to happen. We're going to go 2-3 wide, and we'll just show some racing in the back too. We want to get everyone their time in the sun here. The Spotify car, sorry, I just switched to YouTube Music, but the Spotify car down to the inside of the track. That's the 99 of John Creedler, and he was on the middle of 3 wide. Now he is in the, who's in the middle? That's the 31 of Dylan Freeman, 6 of Mike Weeda to the outside.
Jeff Slaughter on the other side. These guys are having just as much of a battle, even though the gap in front has separated significantly. And everyone wants to go 3 wide today.
Yeah, who is that? The lead car in this pack. This is about 23rd. This is Jason Benson. That's Dewey. And then Ward Fisher, Nathan Smith. Massive camera shake on that camera that I wasn't expecting. And then side by side again. We'll do a through the field on our next caution, presuming we get one, but we'll do that at some point. Give everybody their time in the sun appropriately. But the person who has had the most time in the sun is Ty Bass. The E stands for... I got to really work on that joke, because there's not a lot of E words that come to brain very instantly here. But he's led 22 laps, and Jared Jackson is trying to stop that stat from getting every bigger. But Ty Bass having connection issues, actually. And Jeremy Brown, he's there. He's looking to the inside. Will he get this lap? Not quite, but he'll try in turn 1.
Jeremy Brown also on the old tires. These two have just been able to stick up near the front. Big separation there as the 9 checks up, 91 even, checks up a little bit for the field. Maybe Jared Jackson has a run here, but I'm thinking who has a run? A wiggle from Bass. This is going to cause a big stack up as Brown finally takes that lead off, and he's sent 3 wide, right behind.
3 wide, and that's going to take Bear and put him up in the 2nd spot. Ty Bass finally has lost control of the race. Now, will that cause him to fall backward? Now he's in a little bit of that mixed up air, maybe with those older tires not having the traction he's used to having, or will he get up on the horse and try to go back at it? Looks like the latter is the point of contention here. He's going to try to get back at it, but now Jared Jackson, he's going to have momentum. Big wiggle by the 2. Who that to the inside? That's O'Connor. He got loose all the way down to the flat. That's been the common trend tonight.
You think this car gives you infinite grip, and then you put the foot down just a little bit too much, and you realize, oh, there's some horsepower that can get me on the rear, and they can really punish you on the exit there as you're just trying to get the absolute most you can down that very long straight. Absolutely everybody just filing it around each other, but now we've had a bit of a drop off to the back of that pack. I believe that's Brad Kress. He just lost out quite a few on the inside, and now he's at the caboose.
Yep, and then starting about 3 seconds back, that leads with Weeda and Brad Kress. If they get singled out, perhaps they can gain that time, but they are not cooperating in that capacity. And then you have the little stragglers back here. Kyle Dewey, remember he was up front earlier. Benson hasn't been up front. Ward, Tyler Rules, Nathan Smith, John Crutchley, and then our race sponsor, again, just want to give him all the accolades here, Dominic Zanobi. In the Florida Panthers, we do have Florida Panthers. Again, this is all over your head there, Howie, but we have Florida Panthers in the back, and we have Edmonton Oilers running in 6th. So, in chat, is that any indication of the real-world events? Take your bets at that, but take your bets at the battle for the lead. Chad Bear lost the lead. He lost it very quickly, and he's going to get it back just as quickly with the dive in turn number 3.
Yeah, I'll say I have strong feelings on football, and that's your football, but hockey is just where I just don't know it. I'm a bit out of touch. I've been looking at some of these lap times, and I've noticed the fall-off has only just started to show up. Jeremy Brown just setting a 40 as fast as a 39.3, so we're not even a second down. Meanwhile, Ty Bass, he's only about half a second down. These drivers are not getting their intense fall off a cliff, and if these two are able to hold up their pace, that can impact strategies for everybody else. I think people are noticing that these drivers that haven't stopped at all are still getting a lot of pace out of that car, and they're looking after them very, very well.
Yeah, perhaps the pace might not be dropping off, but I think what it gives you is maybe the agility to be able to make those aggressive moves and just have that kind of thing, that tire to fall on. I think that might be what that fresh tire is worth, even if not on the stopwatch. But either way, up front, Ty Bass, Chad Bear, 1st and 2nd. Is that a surprise? Answer no. They got to where they want to be. Makes you wonder who is going to be the one to lead the laps this time. Ty Bass has led the majority. Chad has not led the majority. He's led 16. As somebody off yonder down the backstretch again. Mylanta, what is going on with that? What if that was grass? We'd be on about our 75th caution by now. That's Jeff Slaughter.
I think they should put some grass there just for the fun of it. Remember when Daytona sent cars flipping? The good old days.
Well, I will tell you, to take a joke and make it grim, you know what came across my YouTube feed the other day was the 1999 Kart 500 at Fontana. They had grass to the inside, and that caused a wreck that actually took a race car driver away from us. That's why they do it. But now they just went absolutely ballistic with it. You know, if you said Daytona, they may as well just have 2.5 miles of an asphalt lot the way that is now. But that's rather here nor there for the time being. Jared Jackson, he is looking to the high side. Jeremy Brown to the inside. And again, Timothy O'Connor, I really want to give him his presence right now. He has done some great stuff here, except fill out the spreadsheet. He hasn't done that. But he is doing great things in that 6th spot, giving a push to Sean Bradley. And giving quite a push to Sean Bradley. Got him sideways and up the track.
Every car for themselves behind this 12.
Wasn't the push I was intending there. Wasn't the push I was getting at, but that was to be added. Let's go 3 wide.
Let's just casually go 3 wide everywhere we can. Let's just keep doing this as much as possible. The separation's not really happened up front, so I've seen other cars separate a bit more. That's McLendon's taken a bit of a nudge. Pushed down the track, saves it nicely in time, but now he's going to be shuffled to the back of this absolute mosh pit. And maybe mosh pit is the right word to describe what's going on around this track. I mean, it seems like everywhere you look, people are door banging within inches of their life and getting away with it.
Now, one thing we didn't go over earlier in the event was our weather conditions. 76 in the air, most notably the track temp 125 degrees, so that certainly is adding to the slick conditions here and making these drivers loosey-goosey, slippy-slidey, as point to be had there. Cunman nearly into O'Connor. And now we have Davey Hendricks, the Kyle Busch-esque car, the old-school Kyle Busch-esque car, back when he won races, in the top 10 underneath McLendon. So McLendon on his down trek, and then Brad Kress back there at 11th. I think Brad Kress, to be honest with you, I think he's just saying, you guys do your thing. I don't want to wreck yet. I want to be here on lap 85. Sometimes that's what race winners and the veterans like to do.
However, pit stop still do. There's still time to play the long game and hope you come out successful by the end. Although I'm not quite seeing anyone quite make their breakaway anytime soon. The gap to Harmon behind is now 1.9 seconds. It's going to approach 2 very soon. So it seems like something very different is happening to that pack behind. I don't know whether it's just overall pace, or I just don't know whether it's a strategy call or something else. But wherever you look, there's just these little clumps of drivers going one after another after another. And these positions are moving a little bit too much. A huge move to the bottom there by Emertes. Gets it back in line. I thought he was about to pull the run of the century, but he gets better of it.
Back of the shot, I think. Brad Slaughter, he's in another league. Jeff Slaughter just had some issues, and they continued down the back straightaway here in that number 88 Superflow Camaro. Big slideways shot, overcorrected into the fence. Wouldn't be surprised if that did something to the toe or the suspension, as he had some issues. But again, that we've just seen the corner exits get drivers out, and he will come into the pits for repairs or backup car or something. As
big wreck on the backstretch. Started with Emert getting loose, and we don't have the caution yet, do we? Yes, we do. The overlay, we have it in action. I was catching that just as I was watching that Meek drive into the pits. Loss doesn't have his fast repair by the way.
Emert just got loose. He got loose on his own, and McClendon, he had a bad side of that as well. Look at here, the right-hand clip got McClendon, that got Brad Kress, and down the back straightaway, some drivers went. I'll try to get that one more perspective if I can from McClendon. That number 51 car. Yeah, just complete innocent bystander. There goes Davey Hendricks in the M&M's car. But luckily they have a fast repair, so they'll be able to get sorted and get squared away. And this will put us in a window, Howie, where we can finish this thing on a pit stop from this juncture.
What happened to Hendricks there is basically what happened to Hendricks there is what happens to Kyle Busch every week that he's running above 47th, which is very painful indeed. Some of these drivers have used their fast repair. Hendricks has used his, but he's not going to be able to repair. There's no meatballs out on the field, but it looks like his car is running. Slaughter disconnected. His damage was a little bit too much. This is the pivotal race in and out of pit lane. We've now proven that tire fall off isn't going to win or lose you this race. If you use them well and if you drive them well, whoever leads out of this pit stop is going to have a wonderful field to run ahead from, especially if there's too much battling further back.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. I assume it'll be 4 tires of fuel. I saw Sean Bradley have to back up just a little bit. That will be a little bit of a detriment on his pit stop time there. If I can get the right camera code, that would be great. But let's see who has the best times exiting their stall. 14.6. Slow stop, but had enough to be able to do it. No time. John Campbell, 1:17. Only one to play strategy right there. 8.4 second stop. I would imagine that is for 2 tires. I think anything in the 7s has to be fuel, but I think 8s and up you can take 2 tires. But we do need to have a word with our race sponsor right here. All right, Dominic, is Corey and Howie in the booth? You got us?
Yeah, I got you guys.
All right. Well, you are the sponsor of today's race, so we thank you for that. And you have deemed this the Stanley Cup Showdown, and no reason as to why, as I could tell on your car. So just give us a little knowledge as to what gave you that title choice.
So, I mean, I work with the Florida Panthers as a part-time gig, so I was thinking about what we had going on right now, and I know we got a couple Oilers fans in the group here, so I thought, why not? I know everyone's going against me, but hey, I'm okay with that.
You knocked out my Bruins a few years consecutively, so I don't like you guys either, but that's rather here nor there. I appreciate you as a racer, and you guys have gotten one to go already. You are 5 laps out. What did happen to you? Because I don't think we were able to catch that live.
No, nothing happened. I was running late. I didn't make it on time to the actual start of the race. I was actually playing my own hockey game, and I won that. But I was running a little late from that, so I had my girlfriend jump in the session for me. I could thank her for that, and so I could be able to race tonight.
Well, Better. Well, either way, you're not last. You have some attrition behind you. So, but we'll let you get back at it. Appreciate you, man. And as hard as it is for me to say, I'll say good luck to your Panthers.
You got to cheer for Brad Marchand at least.
Okay, you've gained me about 5% now.
That's
right.
good. I'll take it.
Right.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you guys.
All right, again, our race sponsor here today. He got me. Brad Marchand was a Boston Bruin for the longest time. He got traded. He is now on a team going for the Stanley Cup. So I guess I can just give him that little bit of extra love, all beyond anything that Howie knows. But either way, let's get back to live racing. And we have seen a couple times, I believe it's the 2, has had some connection issues. Hopefully that does not continue. But either way, let's get ready for a restart, Howie.
A new car on the front position, and getting restarts here seems to be very, very powerful. So Chad Bear in control for the restart, but this is going to be another absolute scramble. Not too many laps here to go. Everybody can do it clean. Off we go.
Green flag, and again, the inside car has just been getting the whole shot, and they have not been able to figure out the timing on that outside lane as of yet. Chad Bear will get it. But as we've seen with the slipstream, how long will he be able to hold that lead? That will be the question. He has his compadre Ty Bass in second, but is that short-lived? I think it is, as they're going to be nearly 3 wide. Just as I say that, a push from O'Connor will give Bass sole possession a second, and I believe will be 3 wide for third on back.
O'Connor's move up top to the track pushed Sean Bradley into the wall, so he's gone from about 4th all the way back to 7th, just losing all that momentum. Not down and out at all, though. O'Connor, not a car we've seen near the front for most of this race, but he's driving aggressive, and I bet he's going to send it right to the bottom or top of Bass very, very soon. Who wants that lead back? He was fantastic, even on some slightly more worn tyres. Now it's an even playing field. I think he could be the biggest candidate here.
Who was that into the fence there? That magenta car. I believe that's Dylan Freeman. He was into the fence there off of turn number 2. That kind of stacked them up. And who is that? Pancaking each other. That is Corner. That is Mike Weeda. They were using each other as stability through turns 3 and 4 there. Will separate. But again, these drivers are racing Michigan as if it is Bristol with the beating and banging that we've seen thus far in the 56 laps. About 29 laps to be specific remaining in the event. 35 lap stint, I believe, Howie, so we should be fine on fuel. I think we can go full bore. Of course, if there's an opportunity to take tires, they may do that, but absolutely, if this runs green, we can battle it out. Unlike the real world today.
That first run made me wonder, though, about tyres, because they didn't really kill a run at 40. I think track position is just going to be vitally important in these cars here. I'm used to the Xfinities and the Gen 4s around here, which have such a different character, and I'm just like, so surprised by the way these cars are much more physical, they're much more stuck to the track, and there's much, much less tyre attrition on them throughout the course of this race. They're being driven very, very differently, and it's unique seeing the character play out.
And of course, as you alluded to a little bit earlier, for those who are maybe friends of or family of drivers, you don't quite know, iRacing does quarterly updates, and that update's actually happening this coming Tuesday if you're watching this live 2 days after this race airs. Significant changes to this very car in terms of aerodynamics, tire model, and just overall physics. So what they're racing today and how it drives today is very likely going to be much different next week. So we'll see how those tires react even next week. That's why these drivers will always have to stay on their game and practice and learn the nuances of racing 3 wide and door to door with their competitors. They're going to have to learn that the hard way. Brad Kress in the middle. Brad Kress did use his fast repair. He was involved in that last caution, but already up to 7. Good comeback for him.
I mean, the real thing about the next patch is the Gen 4's triple bypass.
Yes.
Please, I'll be there every single week for them. That's all I'll say.
If there's a Super Speedway League, I'll be there too.
With the Super Speedway bodies. Bass hasn't made this pass happen yet. I think everybody's sort of keeping their cars to themselves up front. Further back, the further back you look, the more of a tangle and a melee it becomes. Almost 3 wide here from the 46, the 9, and the 12 cars we've seen running up near the front throughout this race.
We're wrecking.
Back, that's the 35. Here we go.
35, and then
That's
Marty
Williams.
Rogers as well. The Bud Light car, again, using all of the runoff pavement that Michigan provides. And that will allow them to keep control of their cars. I'm going to say 32 came up. That caused the 35 to get loose. That yellow car was a innocent bystander in that. That yellow car of Kyle Dewey. I think Dewey has already used his fast repair too, so he doesn't need to see any more contact. But either way, that'll be another caution flag here on the day. They will not need to pit. They may choose to, but they don't need to. And we'll see who chooses to do what.
If we see any pits, it'll be from drivers that didn't change tires and want to now. There's going to be no strategic need. 8 laps into a run to use them. I think now we've been given the convenient opportunity, though, to run through the field. Everybody's been nicely bunched together. You asked for the time, so you could lead us for the top 10. We'll keep going.
It's almost as if you knew that I was going to do that, because I thought, hey, this is a perfect time. They're not side by side changing positions every 2 seconds, so this is a good time to do it. You know what? We're going to pause. And the only reason we're going to pause is because we're going to wait to see who does pit, because if I do it while they're on pit road, that will just be utter chaos. So let's see who comes to pit road, if any. Split bag, faking,
likes to
shaking,
bait
bacon.
people. A lot of bait.
Yeah, or, I mean, and there's first taker all the way back in the, I think Josh Corner was that, perhaps? Yes, it was. And there's Dewey, which is to be expected because he made that pit stop. But that being said, now it's safe to do our Through the Field, sponsored by, we don't have a sponsor. Chad Bear is our race leader with Ty Bass running in second. Third is Sean Bradley with Timothy O'Connor running in the 4th spot. 5th, we have Mr. Jared Jackson. 6th spot will find Brad Kress. Jeremy Brown currently running in 7th. Alan Kunman in 8th, or Kuhnman, take your pick. They'll correct us, I'm sure, by next week. Matthew Harmon in 9th, and then finishing out our top 10, we have Dylan Freeman. We'll hand it off to you there, Howie.
There's been battles everywhere down this pack, so they've been going on all through the back. The 99 with John Greenland marks out 11th in front of Mike Weeder, Michael Hopkins, Mark Herzog, Stephen McLendon, Davey Hendricks, William Emer, Jason Benson, John Crutchley, and Tyler Relas in 20th. Just 12 more to go.
Yep, we got Ward Fisher in the all-red vehicle there, 21st. Josh Corner, 22nd. John Campbell in 23rd. That car is more dirty than any other vehicle. Why is his car more dirty? I don't know. We got Marty Rogers in the pits. We got Daniel Williams in the pits. We have Kyle Dewey in the pits. We have Nathan Smith exiting the pits. And then our race sponsor, Dominic Zanobi, drivers out of the race. Jeff Slaughter, actually, that's it. Jeff Slaughter, the other 3, Squire, Kane, and Tex Nichols. They are long out of the race here.
But they did indeed start. I remember Tex Nichols retiring just like it was yesterday.
Yeah, our overlay issue that I fixed, I believe. Again, never do an overlay update the day of a race. I made a newbie mistake, assuming that everything would be fine, and it wasn't. So that is my faux pas on that one. But we are on lap number 62. So that'll leave us 23 laps remaining in today's efforts. And I mean, usually at this point in the race, Howie, you have a good idea of who's going to win. I mean, we could say the 91 or the 2. That'd be a safe bet. But here at Michigan, what we've seen, we don't know who's given 100%. We don't know who's put all their cards on the table yet. So it's still very much anybody, I'd say, in the top 10, if not 15.
I think it would take some real surprises in order for it to go quite that far back. I've been really impressed by the 2-car throughout the entire race, but we've seen surprises thrown up in our face. Let me just put it like that. And even though Netcode's been very kind to many of these drivers, sometimes the slickness of the track has not. So that does indeed open the game up.
Yeah, it opens the game up indeed. Of course, in the real world, I don't want to play spoilers, but fuel mileage was quite the big issue, and that happens in Michigan, but we're not going to have that issue here today. We're going to have 100% horsepower, 100% throttle, and all of the action here to conclude the last 23 circuits here around the Irish Hills. Chad Bear in the restart zone. He got the jump. That's probably the least amount of jump he's got thus far. as he'll take the green flag coming off into turn 1. Look at Jared Jackson trying to force his way to that outside lane, but Brad Crest doesn't give him the lane.
Getting that restart is nice, but then the pack comes up upon you like a swarm of bees from behind, and Ty Bast sitting in that slipstream waiting to get something done. Further back, Timothy O'Connor still hanging up quite up high. Bit of door banging here from Bradley on the bottom line, moves up a lane and quickly realizes that space is taken. He's been getting into contact with a couple around here. This top pack, though, they have mostly cleaned it up already. Really, some of the madness is kicking off behind. I'm looking at Stephen McLendon in the middle of a sandwich upon a sandwich. They could send that for.
And here comes Alan Cunman. He has the run to the back of Brad Crest. Not giving a push this time. He's going to maybe look a little bit low, but just behind that, that's Jeremy Brown in the 46. The 46 was looking to make something happen, and there goes Kyle Dewey. Again, you'd think there was a chicane off of turn number 2, as many drivers who have done that. And then let's go 3 wide a little bit further. Steve McClendon, I believe, in the backup car, trying to work his way back up through the field. And if any driver outside the top 15 can still go for this win, it's certainly that 51.
I think everybody is just looking to try and be here at the right place at the right time for the end, because this pack has compressed, and very much I think if you force the issue, you can make some aggression happen no matter what. Holding on to that for the last couple of laps is going to be a real pain, let me tell you that. Very, very single file running for a lot of this top group, though. I think everybody's found their line, and apart from in the corners where a couple send it to, they're fanning right back out again. A bit of door banging there with the 9 and the 12. They're almost getting together. I keep feeling like someone's going to go backwards and upset the whole field. There have been big surprises, but we have about 21 to go. Make that 20 to go around the track. So we're running out of time. People are going to start getting more aggressive.
They're going to get more aggressive as we've already experimented with 3 wide. We've already experimented with 3x3. We've experimented with 4 and I think even 5 wide for a brief moment here, and all that is on the table with the amount of grip that these cars have, with the grip that the tires have, the lack of fall off, the high speeds. In fact, let's actually go on board with somebody here that we haven't been on board with all day today. Let's just get a taste of how quickly we are actually navigating this racetrack in 4th gear, which is quite surprising to me, actually. We don't get into 5th, but 196 miles an hour. Now, I have to wonder, is that a setup thing or is that a driver thing? Because I'd be almost guaranteed that they'd be in 5th gear.
I've seen the setup name and it has 4th gear in the name, so I think this has been tuned to make 4 gears the most viable way around the track this time around. This series running custom fixed setups, of course, so they're not running the iRacing fixed setups, but everybody is on the same playing field. That's really what they enjoy about running these cars around here.
So that 5th gear, obviously, the way they have it tuned, back in the day, you'd run 3rd gear at Pocono and you'd shift to 4th as an overdrive, but 5th they may not have it intentionally designed to be advantageous, take that shifting element out, and I think maybe that's what's leading to this great racing here. This 3 wide down the back yet again. I've almost become immune to 3 wide racing, but I haven't become immune to snaking left and right all over the place here, and that's what we have here. Look at the Spotify car in the top pack for the first time here today. John Creedler, we've seen him in the 2nd pack the predominant portion of the race, but now that it's game time, 20 to go, he says, you know what, time for me to start being aggressive and get myself as high up as I can get.
I've just found a way to tie something that I said to you before the show in full circle. And that is that if any of you, for any reason, have picked up Mario Kart World and want to see how packed these cars are together, yeah, races there are a little bit like races here, where no one has any space at all, and people are banging into the walls. I just caught that the good old M&M's Kyle Busch car having this little wiggle, keeps it safe, but only a little bit off the wall, so that's hurt Dave Hendricks quite a bit the whole way down.
And we're seeing in chat here, people saying Chad Bear, he is the tire saver, and he is going to be the one that is going to be difficult to beat. And to the point that we've had, tires really haven't done that much here today, but any last bit more is obviously going to be advantageous. Here comes Bradley in the Oilers car to the inside of Dylan Freeman, taking a dive. Can he clear? Can he clear? Answer is he cleared himself. Into the fence is Freeman. Freeman's Going back to NASCAR 2004, his ally rival meter just turned quite red there with that move, but they'll have to take it.
Pull up the intimidation bar. Watch as you just fill it and the driver just swerves out of the way. I'm knocking things off my desk if you heard that. That's incredible.
Yep. I thought Irish people talk with their hands. You're not Irish.
What's life at 3 a.m. for you, on the NASCAR track? It's been a long one.
Yeah, life at 3 a.m. for me is snoring with my sleep apnea. It is not being awake, but you folk are brave folks over there. I can't do it. But what I also can't do is drive a next-gen car to the ability of Brad Kress, who somehow managed to save that. Got a bump at the exit of turn 2. Again, that runoff
You know what time
pavement.
it is? I've been waiting for you to press the button.
Oh my goodness. Well, let's look at it one more time and decide if it's worth the utmost integrity of that award. Okay, I gotta make you happy.
I saw his...
How did you save that car? Well, I'm just so daggone good.
Yes, the Ricky Rudd Save of the Race Award goes to Brad Kress. Many drivers now, we might get post-race yelled at because many drivers have had a wiggle. They've had a scary moment off of 2. But I'm giving it to Howie as our guest commentator here this evening. Howie says it's Brad, so it's Brad.
Like, I saw one of his late 90s cars today in person. Oh, every time I go for that anecdote, something happens. The free sent right into Emert, who unfortunately just got slowed the whole way down by going his way. Please brake, please avoid this. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, I was hoping there was no one left there. So
no injuries today.
We sort of saw it stewing. Again, we're evading all ice cream jokes. We did promise that. I'm not good at keeping promises, but I'll try. And gonna say 405 came down, but we're gonna go go from a third-party vehicle here, where we can kind of see this happen from arrears. Now look at the white car,
I think it's
third
more
lane.
to do with. I think it's more to do with the car on the bottom accidentally getting involved.
Yeah, from that angle, from the view of Michael Hopkins, I'm gonna say both guys just one came up, one came down at the same time. Luckily, we're not admin. We don't have to make the call. Ricky, go away. I thought I turned that scene off. So luckily, we don't have to make that call. Admin does. But, whoa. Everyone says, Chad Bear, you suck it up by yourself. We're going anti-strategy here. Chad Bear, the lonely. For those who listen to hip-hop, he is in Akon mode. He's lonely. He has nobody to call his own. Nobody behind him until you go back to Josh Corner.
So, the conventional wisdom says you pit now. For me, the wisdom of this race says you maybe just don't, and you maybe do try and hold on to that win, because if Bear's done the maths right, he could come out and just, dominate this from the front here as well. Joshua Coroner, Marty Rogers, and Daniel Williams, also cars that haven't stopped. They're on fresher tires, but only by a little bit. So that's completely changed the top 4 of this race. Bear's stuck here, but I'm surprised even Bass went for this after doing so well on the old tires. If you're gonna make a strategy stop and it's gonna not cost you much, now's the time to do it. You have a very, very short run, and the small margins can mean a lot in the pack races. But as I said earlier, the cautions might continue until Brown improves.
Yeah, we will see what happens. And like we've been saying, Chad Bear, he has been allocated as the tire-saving champion, and he should be the one that has the best situation of the older tire drivers. But to my point, tires don't give you speed here, but they give you agility. They allow you to make more aggressive moves, and you're not on as much of edge. Maybe you can still run at 99%, but maybe those fresh tires give you that 100 where you can just be a little bit more agile, and that might be what everybody else needs to take that opportunity and make it pass by him, which has been quite difficult. Steve McClendon, he did take, I'll quote you, half the recommended tires, or something to that effect, 9.7 second pit stop, and the majority of them else, the rest, English, other than Dylan Freeman, took 4 tires.
At check the rookie red car, I saw it was the 1991 car. Lovely.
Drove for, drove for Hendrick then, if I'm not mistaken.
It's actually half the recommended tires, I think you'll find. It's half.
50%. Yeah. He has the other 2 on layaway at some point. Maybe he'll take them in the next 10 laps. So Michigan, I mean, a lot of times I try to calculate distance on the fly just for the sake of dramatic commentator effect. We will have 20 miles remaining in this race once we cross the start-finish line. Gotta love Michigan for having a nice easy number for me.
And how it flies, it's going to be just over 5 minutes of racing at full bore, although the moment elbows are going to get out, I think more tears might start flowing. Chad Bear leads the field. I think he's onto something, but those drivers behind are going to be using every inch they have.
Doing every inch available and hopefully not overstretching into causing another accident here today. But let's see, can we finish it clean, or are we going to have to stack them up once more? The aggression will go up. The intensity goes up. 10 laps to go. Heavy drafting, heavy plate racing, heavy pack racing. What are these drivers going to do? Green flag in the air, and Bear with the whole shot as expected.
Saw Hendricks just sort of dive down and force the car on the bottom, and why even talk about the small things that happen when the big things are going to happen? And reset the pack again. Morale must improve, and some of these cars are going on an absolute journey. Some of them are going to be out this race for good with their first fast repair gone. Emert and McLendon meatballed out with their first fast repair gone, and probably more having taken damage they're not happy with.
Now, interestingly, so let's go
as well.
Cam here. One more perspective. Watch that black and blue purplish car in the middle, whatever colors it is. That's O'Connor squeezing in the middle. And as he was squeezing in the middle, it was almost if they were trying to go 4 wide. And then there was a separate incident there. That was the 6 of Weeda that we will have to deduce what happened to him, because the McLendon incident was over at that point. And then Weeda had an issue significantly after the fact.
I always see John Campbell's car from a mile away. I know a Krispy Kreme car when I know a Krispy Kreme car when I see one. But yeah, like flying up the track and then absolutely sent. And that's why I recognize that car, just being sent as a victim of circumstance. And yes, this is how this race could very much change in front of people's eyes. Sean Bradley has just inherited the P2 as well, and on some of the freshest tires on the pack. Place.
He was just involved in a caution maybe 2 or 3 cautions ago. Marty Rogers in the Bud Light car, in that Bud Light Camaro, just shows a little bit of luck, a little bit of circumstance, and you can get right back into things. Can't bail, can't quit just because you get into an accident. You never know how your race can recover.
And he still has the fast repair in case this race somehow gets worse. I wanted to check back to see if anything extraordinary happened to shuffle this front. And not really. It was just that, it's turn 1. Everybody's sort of wherever they are. And then the field gets frozen the moment that caution flies. Madness in the back of the field. It's led to a bit of a butterfly effect down. And a lot of drivers very much out of place from where we've seen them for quite some time. But the constant is still there. And quite frankly, he's enjoying these caution laps. The more of these he gets, the less wear those tires are going to take.
Indeed the case here, and obviously not putting any load on the tires, just cruising at highway speeds around 70 miles an hour here at the Michigan Speedway. And again, if you like what you see here, of course, subscribe here to us on PTR TV. At the time of this recording, we are very near the 1,700 subscriber mark, if I could utter that, that'd be nice. And a little bit of help to help us get there surely would be appreciated. And we will be live next week. We don't have the Michigan we don't have the Michigan track on iRacing. We don't have Mexico City yet. It is soon to come. It is in heavy production mode, but they said it's a big project. It will not be out next week unless they absolutely surprise us last second. We will be, however, at the Chicago Street Course next week. That will be our race on June 15th if you're watching this live, and then the month of June we'll continue on with Nashville and New Hampshire. So if you like what you see, you can either join the league at triplebypass.com, or you can watch us here on PTR TV.
Controversial, but name another track I'm absolutely in love with. It is brutal in these cars. You're going to lock up everywhere. You're going to end up in walls. You're going to hope you can make it. It's no Watkins Glen. It will beat you up and bruise you, but it is also such a true stock car racing road course because you can beat and bang, and you do have to watch the limits of your car. It is wild, and all the triple bypass series are visiting it one after another, so they're going to get a little bit of practice for the big one. I hope they can keep it together. I mean, it's going to go cautionless, so you have that. You know, if we die, we die.
Is that going to be one of your one-off stay up till 4 a.m. as a driver excursions?
I will wreck it within 30 seconds and it won't be worth it. I don't have the skills. I'm not there.
Now, I have not figured out the braking in this next-gen car. I know it has a new special physics braking model system thingy. I have not figured it out, therefore I can't run road races. Luckily, I'm a commentator and I drive about once every 3 weeks if I'm lucky. So, not my skill set, but it's these drivers' skill set to do so, and they'll have to sort that out in 1 week's time. But we get a lot of business here to sort out with 12 miles, 6 more circuits around the Michigan Speedway. Bear to the inside as the control vehicle. Bradley to the outside in the Oilers car. Let's see as we enter the restart zone. That is the best run from the outside lane we've seen thus far. But Marty Rogers caught sleeping there on the inside lane. Just as I say,
if
that
the drivers want to
sleeping.
make their move. Sorry, I wasn't going to say. I was giving them time, but my bad.
No, we're all good. We're all good. And we're not all good. Into the fence hard. Marty Rogers to the inside. We saw Bass and Bradley hard into the fence. That gives Chad Baer about a 3-4 car length lead. Marty Rogers just praising him. And now he's all the way outside of the top 10. We're 3-4 wide, trying to get sorted out here. Laps a ticking, 3-4 wide, maybe even 5 at points. They're all trying to get sorted out as Chad Baer drives off into the distance.
There's desperation all over the body language of a lot of this field. There's a lot of twitching, there's a lot of looking left and right, and there's a couple races that were just ended by that wall there. Bear has a great run down the line, and I don't think he's losing that much time to the cars behind, but if anyone's going to do it, Bass is going to. More contact, cars being sent below the line.
Now we have a major separation from fifth to sixth, rather. You have Mike Harmon, you have Davey Hendricks. They are now about a second back, but it's Bear, Bass, Jackson Brown, and Bradley, 5 cars strong up at the lead pack here. But as they battle, I wouldn't be surprised if that second pack is able to sort things out. But Chad Bear and Ty Bass have been 1-2 for a significant portion of this race. You have to imagine that the friendship orders will run out, and I think they've run out right now.
There's no time to work with anyone now. It's pass or be pass, and I think Sean Bradley and Jared Jackson are feeling the same way as they send it 3 wide into 3 and 4. Ty Bass claims the lead, and you can just feel the frustration from Bear. He's been dragged back by these cars that have just mobbed him. He's fallen off the face of the planet. Maybe I think the tires have just fallen off for him, and down and down and down he goes.
Yeah, remember that 91? He was the Lone Ranger amongst the lead drivers to stay out on that last caution, and just now believe that is finally starting to rear its ugly head towards him. But now you can see the up and going here. 3 laps to go, 2.5 to be specific. Remember, if we take the white, we will take the checkers. If not, we do have overtime in our back pocket if we need it, as we come to 2 laps to go. Beating and banging Jackson and Bradley. Beating and banging aggressively into the fences, Bradley in 4.
Running side by side in these last few laps is going to kill your momentum enough to take you out of it. The side draft so powerful, and obviously the contact and the friction slowing you down. But Jeremy B. Brown is in position with a few good turns to take control of this race for himself. Further back, Jackson and Bradley still drag racing each other. Ty Bass takes the inside line. He's going to cover up again. Jeremy's going to need some very, very good corners and a very, very good run to secure this.
Jeremy B. Brown, does the B stand for bollocks for a second, or does the B stand for badass because he's going to get the win here today? We'll find out in 2 miles time. We're going to hit the white flag, and no matter what happens, we will see the checkers. Here comes the run into turn number 1. Look into the inside, dive down low, side by side, contact with Bass. They keep themselves, they're dooring down the back straightaway, Howie.
We are going to drag
Big
race,
wreck.
or maybe not. That's Bear around.
We're big
I don't know
wreck.
if we stay green.
No, we stay
Looks
green.
like we do.
Nope.
And we're almost ready to go 3 wide. That's the 12 on the inside.
No cautions on the final lap, but we're going to be 3 wide. We're going to be wrecking, I think, but it's going to be a door-to-door finish for the race win. It's going to be Jeremy Brown. It's going to be Jared Jackson who's going to get it at the stripe. That is nearly a tie, but it's going to be by a 100th of a second going to Jeremy Brown. And absolute utter chaos happened behind that.
Almost the steal of the century came out of nowhere, but that's what happens at Michigan. From a barn burner in real life to a barn burner on the triple bypass track. There's so much you're going to have to catch here. I do not envy you one bit.
Yeah, I'll do my very best to make things look decent here, but just look at this 3 wide moment and the run to the checkers. Luckily, I do have somewhere in my massive amount of cameras here, I do have a good final victory shot here. Close enough. It's not frame by frame, but that is the margin of victory essentially here today. There it is. Like, I mean, I could back it up a little bit, but not really worth the trouble. But we will try to sort out some of the absolute and utter chaos that happened on that last lap. This is coming to 1 to green right here.
Who wasn't wrecking is probably a better question.
That's a very good question. Now this is coming to 1 to green right now, and once we got to the back straightaway, I don't know if everyone just forgot how to drive or what, but it got pretty crazy.
Did you never watch Talladega Nights? Point first to last.
Yeah, that is a very utterly true statement here. That just makes Admin's job a lot more fun after the fact, but they come down the back straightaway, and there goes one incident. There's O'Connor down to the inside. There is, I think that's Benson. Someone lost their hood. And then we come through 3 and 4. We're still not done, as far as I remember. Or maybe that was it. Yeah, these drivers, I don't know how they didn't
I did
wreck.
see Hendrix's car end up sliding across the infield on the way out. Some drivers trying to cut the grass to get across the line. If you win it on the grass, I have a feeling admins might take that one away from you.
Yeah, but either way, that is the victory interviews here, the victory donuts by Jeremy Brown, and we're going to get things situated here with our post-race show and let you know where your favorite driver finished here on the evening. So let's go down and give you that page of results. Have you read the top 10 for us there, Howie?
Well, Jeremy Brown takes the win here, but Jared Jackson almost took it by 100th. Ty Bass, leading a lot of this race, finishes 3rd ahead of Sean Bradley, Matthew Harmon, Dave Hendricks, Mike Weider, Mark Herzog, Alan Kundman, and Dylan Freeman in 10th.
11th place finds Mike Hopkins, and then Nathan Smith in 12th. I don't think we said that name once here today. Josh Corner in 13th, Kyle Dewey in 14th, and Daniel Williams, Jason Benson. John Crutchley gets a 17th. Brad Kress, he was up and down all day, but settles for 18th. Ward Fisher, and then Chad Baer, dominating performance, has to settle for a 20th.
And now the victims, some of them still ticking down, it seems. Timothy Connor, Marty Rogers, Dominic Zanobi, Steve McLendon, William Emert, John Campbell finishes 26th ahead of John Cradler, Tyler Reles, Jeff Slaughter, and Alex Square. And then 2 more at the very back of the pack. We'll make that 3. Cameron Kane, Tex Nichols, and Nick Jones to round out the race.
All right, that is our race results here today, and we will have to be... We'll get our top 3, but we will have to be a little efficient in our interviews here just to get everybody their opportunity for some words here. Now, Jeremy Brown, the 46, he is muted, but hopefully he can unmute himself here. Our race victor here today by 1/100th of a second. Jeremy, you made your presence known there at the end of the race, and obviously with all the cautions, you had to make some kind of plan. What was your plan there, those last few laps, trying to place yourself appropriately?
Well, I spent the entire night trying to save a little tire and thinking, because this league usually goes long green flag runs, and I was just committed to the bottom, and kept getting past. And that last run, I was like, there's no tire saving left. So I just went all out the last go around, and it worked out in the end.
Absolutely works out when you win a race in a photo finish fashion there over Jared Jackson. Now, next week's race, take everything you learned here today, everything you did here today, throw it in the garbage, because it don't mean nothing next week as we head to the streets of Chicago. What kind of road racer are you, and what's your confidence level, if any, next week?
I fully expect to be a complete non-factor. You probably won't even call my name next week except for in the starting lineup. I'm not very good at road racing, but I'm good at turning left.
All right. Well, luckily that's about half the lap, so you just got to work on the other sides of it. So congrats on the win here today. Any final words or shout-outs before we let you go?
Yeah, I'd like to appreciate y'all guys for putting on the broadcast. Y'all do a great job, and everybody puts on this league. They do a great job. It's one of the I have only been here for a few weeks, and they do a phenomenal job. And everybody, Elite Designs, Elite Motorsports, those guys, they keep me in paint. So that's it.
All right, man. Well, I know I will anyways. I'll probably see you in the area in a few days. So congrats on your win here today, man.
All righty. Thank you, man. We'll see you.
All right. And then, of course, with any photo finish, there is always the guy who didn't have those. I can't finish that. I say the guy who didn't have those extra inches. I can't word it like that, but you know what I mean. But either way, that's Howie with Jared Jackson.
Jared Jackson, almost at the run of the century. It's never fun to give the interview to the person that quite loses the photo finish, but talk us through it.
Yeah, it was a heck of a race for sure. I didn't really know if I had him there at the line or not. I didn't want to scrub him across the line. I was just trying to cut the track a little bit.
Well, it was very much a race where it could have been anyone throughout. Talk us through the long run as well as through some of those cautions, because that had a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I felt pretty confident early on in the race. I got zero practice this week, or really no practice in the practice room, and I felt pretty confident when the race started. We went about 3 or 4 wide at the beginning of the race, and I think I got loose or something happened and we wrecked. But the way the stage played out, it actually worked in our favor, and I felt pretty quick. I made some mistakes the last couple of laps that let a couple of guys get around me, and I kind of saw an opportunity going into turn 3 to possibly wrap the bottom, and I thought it would work out.
Well, next week, as mentioned to our last interviewee, we go to somewhere extraordinarily different. Do you think your car's going to make it around Chicago?
No, I'll probably just start the race and just try to stay out of trouble. But I would not expect to be anywhere close to being a factor next week for sure.
I think everyone's hoping to hang in it. So good race here. Best of luck then, and we'll see you around.
Yes, sir. And I would like to say, today my wife is watching right now. Today we laid my mother-in-law to rest. She passed away this past week, so I really wanted to try to get that win. For her, it would have been special, but I think she probably enjoyed that photo finish there. So I'd like to dedicate this to my mother-in-law.
Absolutely. So,
that is
obviously wishes sent to the family there, Jared, but we'll see what you can do next week. If everybody is a non-factor, maybe that means you will be a factor, because it looks like nobody's going to be a factor next week from what we're hearing. So we'll see what you can do. All right, and then we'll wrap things up here with Ty Bass. All right, Ty, you led a bunch of laps here today, worked pretty well with Chad Bear up at the front, and when it came to be, ended up being about a car length short there in the third spot. Just anything that you could have really done differently, or is pack racing just, the luck of the lottery?
Yeah, I probably should have done a little bit of better protecting the bottom with the tires being fresher. But overall, it was a fun race, especially with Chad, me and him up front the whole time. It was fun.
Now, was there some kind of pre-allotted plan between the two of you guys? Seemed like once you were up front, you guys kind of staged off a lot of the runs third on back. Was that just something that developed in the race, or was there kind of a little bit of a plan saying, we're going to work together and try to keep up front for the majority of it?
No, actually, I have no idea who he is. I've raced with him in this league, I think, a couple of times, but I just realized kind of right away that he had pretty good speed, and it was pretty top line dominant. So if you got down there trapped on the bottom, you would have the chance to get trained. So I just would stay in line. He stayed in line with me kind of at the start, so trying to repay the favor as much as I could.
Well, maybe now you have a new friend going forth for other plate races, because you guys seem to work well together, and it gets you a third here today. We've been asking everybody how they feel about next week at Chicago. Everybody has said they're going to be a non-factor. Do you consider yourself in that category, or are you a road course extraordinaire in disguise?
I'd probably be better off driving that place in reverse than forward. So, yeah, I'm not going to be a factor for that, for sure.
So someone's going to be a factor. We just don't know who it is. But either way, congrats on a third and a solid run here, Ty, and we'll see you soon, I'm sure.
Thanks. I just want to thank everybody over at On Edge and Free Matt Rob.
All right, absolutely, my friend. And we'll let you go. You have a good night.
Thanks, you guys, too.
All right, Howie, so I'm standing by my logic. If everybody is a non-factor, somebody has to be a factor. The mathematics will not allow otherwise. Somebody is going to win next week.
You're telling me to race. That's what you're
I'm
doing.
just saying, if everybody can't be last, so somebody has to be ahead of everybody who's not confident. So either way, might be a chance for you, but we saw a great race here today. Again, want to thank our race sponsor there, Dominic Zanobi, the Panthers fan. Of course, was not able to make the start, so he started this whole race from behind, but he ended up finishing only 2 laps down there in the 23rd spot, so attrition worked in his favor. And Howie, I think the 2 broadcasts I've worked with you, I think you've had 2 photo finishes, so I'm going to need you to stick around a little bit more, because you're providing me some good racing.
It's the British curse. I tell you, my commentator's curse is absolutely unmatched, and that can be used for good or evil.
Yeah, well, I'll take the good of it here today. Again, like, share, comment, subscribe here on PTR TV if you have not done so on YouTube and on Facebook. If you're interested in driving in the league, look up Triple Bypass, and they are still accepting new participants in the league as they're about third of the way through their season. But this is going to be Corey and Howie signing out of the booth. Have a great night, and we will catch you next time.